So I would be hard
It's
pressed to
not that
believe
he's
that.
a hermit, it's that he's a poorly written, poorly explained hermit.
And
I mean, I
Make
gotta
a
be honest with you.
well-written, broken Luke that still feels like Luke.
I gotta be
This
honest with you.
isn't Luke.
I would have definitely wanted him to be Space King, like he's a Jedi Emperor or something. Well, I mean, not like Emperor, but you know what I mean. Like he's some kind of
I get
leader.
you.
Like
He's
I would
Buddha.
have, I would have definitely wanted that. But I mean, like if you know how to write, then anything can be at least decent. So it's just
I would have taken this Luke if they knew what they were doing with the writing.
yeah. If they would have to convince me, but if they really knew what they were doing, then it would have worked for me.
Hmm.
No,
It probably would have
alive.
been good.
oh, that looks like the
Whiny? Are you kidding me?
Oh god.
Okay, so
No.
we're honest. We're honest.
So he's comparing letting all of his friends dying with him being like, it just isn't fair. Where's the correlation?
So we're comparing.
Where is it?
So we're comparing Luke in his early 20s to him in his late 50s,
Actually, he was
broken.
19.
Yeah, okay,
Have
well,
you seen the boomers? Like
compared to him in his late 50s, broken down, depressed, whole life work ruined. That's not a comparison. You can't make that comparison.
Luke in the Last Jedi is the same as Luke in A New Hope because they both wore clothes. Do you think he maybe outgrew that at some point? Maybe like at the end of Return of the Jedi?
What?
man, that's not.
Oh,
that
when
good.
he was resilient in his he had the resolve to just
Hold
stand
on.
against the Emperor and not complain about it.
Does this idiot think that him
He
whining?
matured.
What the hell? Okay, let it play because I want to know what the hell this guy is trying to.
Because somebody died. And it was 5 minutes after somebody died. Oh yeah, it's the same as him considering to
So as we all
his
know,
friends all die because he's sad.
So as we all know, being sad somebody died is definitely a negative character trait. We need our people to be sociopaths and not be concerned with. Oh Jesus!
That's a lack of confidence and belief in the Force.
Okay. Stop.
He has.
Let's stop countering let's stop countering the individual examples. Let's wait until he brings up the point and counter that.
Acting.
Okay, Luke's character arc in Return of the Jedi, specifically of him into a fit of rage, is perfectly written.
Yeah,
it is executed with the knowledge of every single bit of character development that Luke has undergone.
But you know what it also.
Luke in the Last Jedi is fan fiction.
But you know what it also is? Like Darth Vader. Like Darth Vader is not Anakin, but Anakin ever so often feels like he's like he comes out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like sometimes he feels like he comes out a little bit, and that moment when he says "sister" and you hear the tone in his voice, like Vader takes a critical turn for the worse. Like that, like that. Him saying that, it's like he's not even human anymore. Like he's just become a monster for even suggesting that, and that by doing that, Luke is like, he's just like, oh my god, Leia, never, and then he goes and attacks him. Like it's, Vader crosses the line in that moment. Like there's a very good reason why that sequence happens the way it does. I guess this idiot wouldn't understand it. So yeah.
Whatever. We just wanted the same characters.
Good movie.
What's wrong with Indiana Jones? I mean, like the
Cool.
concept.
The concept itself of Indiana Jones 4 was great. It's just the execution fell flat in areas.
But
I
the
mean, that
ending was
monkey
good.
scene.
The ending was good. They got married,
Yeah.
At least it's hopeful.
That was a proper send off to the character.
I liked because in the
why
movie.
Did they hate that? Like, why did they hate that movie so much?
It's
fan service.
It's going to be a bonus on my Plinkett takedowns. I'm going to cover that too. I'm not even a fan of Indiana Jones. I'm going to simply do that one for George because fuck you, Plinkett. Marrying, way better ending hookup than with some whore. Like, seriously, he's like, we want to hook up. We want to.
His character development coming full head where he decides to.
Indiana Jones is this other older guy. Indiana Jones is other older guy are like, we've gotten to the point in life where we're not getting things. Things are being taken from us, and then at the end he gets the greatest gift of all, a family. Like it's a good end if you ask me.
Great.
But it's
I know that's fan service.
I know the movie. I know Indiana Jones 4 has problems, but one thing you can never take away from it, it has the perfect ending send off for a character, and that. I feel like I wanted at the very least I would have wanted something like that for Luke, where even if he was on his island on his own, he would have at least had like a family or something. Like
that shot of him like staring at the twin suns and then fading away. That should have been the shot to end the entire trilogy, the entire saga. That's just something we linger on for a few seconds, and then they cut away. It's like, oh, Luke's dead. Oh well.
They could have had some really awesome thing where there was a battle.
They squandered the potential of Luke's death. They squandered it, and they basically said, he looks at twin suns and dies, and everybody's mildly upset.
Well, that whole sequence is just bullshit anyway. Like I saw it for the first time in the context because I have The Last Jedi for no other reason than wanting to get clips to show bad moments in it, to counter prequel hate and stuff. But he falls over, Luke falls over, and even though he's dying from overforcing, he still has the strength to get back up. So we the audience were like, oh man,
it almost seems like he chose to die.
Yeah, exactly. Like we the audience are like, oh man, that must have been tough for him. And then it just disappears for no reason, and his robot hand doesn't even leave a clank on the ground.
It's anymore.
Robot ghost hand.
Let's go.
Fuck The Last Jedi. No. What? Why?
finally settled down.
So
No.
since the originals were inspired slightly by King Arthur, it now means that the entirety of his character arc throughout all of the 6 films have to reference
Why
Arthur.
does your Why does your life
No.
have to Why does your life have to be dark? Like
Why
my,
does
my
why does
Cause-
Luke's character arc have to be a zero sum just because King
Like-
Arthur's was?
like my grandfather, he had a pretty, I wouldn't say his life is like really dark, but like he had some, let's just say, interesting experiences, you know, like, and most of that was because he was like a child of World War II survivors, and the Netherlands was getting rebuilt, you know, and he had to work really hard as a child, and that sticked with him for the rest of his life. I don't have to do any of that, so like, you know, if hopefully we don't get a world war, I'm gonna, you know, when I'm his age, I'm gonna have way less struggle than him. Like, that stuff is tied to that stuff is tied to circumstance more than anything else. Like, you can live a whole life peaceful and nothing goes wrong, and another guy can be in a time where, you know, there's a massive war and all his friends die. Like, it's circumstance. It's such an arbitrary way to tell a story.
Yeah. All right.
I was just
Says the man.
But your movie was.
Says the man who made a
Just shut the
soulless
hell
cash
up.
grab.
You're no better than JJ in terms of marketing.
All your characters suck ass.
You're full of
You
shameless hack, and you have no knowledge of mythology. Best work in this movie is referencing Kurosawa and World War II bombers.
Yeah,
Please-
by
Please
But-
do,
That's what,
please do kindly fuck off.
that's what people who say. That's what people who hate Rick.
By the way, can I just say this? Like, I promise it's not too long, but the bombers are based on ships called Sky
I know.
Fortresses, and he calls his ships Star
Fortresses.
which is very creative. And now, I don't know too much about them, but they're called Sky Fortress for a reason. They're pretty strong ships. He made his bombers made of paper. He's not even properly respecting his
And they're
sources.
not made of paper. They're made out of
Plot.
aluminum. They're made out of aluminum coated nitroglycerin because that is such a strong explosion.
Also, you notice how, like, in the film, every single time they like fire into the bomber, there's like an explosion that goes off.
So stupid. Like a.
Why? Why does it have to do that? If it's not consistent with the character, then you shouldn't be doing it.
No. I know you want to hate. I know you want to hate on it because Ryan Johnson, but he is right in the sense that stories are there to tell us, you know, stuff that can maybe help us or give us knowledge and insight in our own life. However, it doesn't. I do agree that it doesn't exclusively have to be that. Like what they do in the fucking movies! You goddamn fucktard! That's literally what happens in the movies! Fuck
They have
you! No, no, fuck off! God damn. This guy's the worst human ever. Actually, no, Plinkett exists.
they have
Actually,
a scene.
man.
They have a scene where Luke Skywalker stares at the binary sunset.
God damn. This,
And if they advanced the character, it would have been a triple sunset.
Also, Luke's character in the movie doesn't move forward. It's a smash cut from Return of the Jedi to The Last Jedi, where he's a new character, and then he barely improves throughout the entire movie. That's not moving forward. That is regression. Please, sir, do kindly.
Jake Skywalker.
Skywalker.
Is not my Luke. Hashtag not Luke. Ah, freaking hell.
Oh man. No.
The ends
kinda
like
just
right after. The
died.
movie ends like right after. And I guess it gives Rey and Finn motivation for fighting Kylo, but Finn already had motivation, and Rey doesn't even seem that mad at him. The fuck, JJ?
Yeah, the new
Stop.
planet.
If I hear that sentence,
Just gotta do something to this
I'm
guy.
going
That
to-
requires.
going to head over to Patrick Williams' house,
Wait,
movie
just
Bob, and everybody else, and I'm going to slit every single one of their throats because that has to stop right now.
all right. Hold up 1 second. He says Han is supposed to have utility. Then he says it's not about him. It's about the other ones. How is he useful if it's not about him at all? He's just there as a side character.
Is it like a middle of the road kind of thing? Is that what you want?
No, I mean, how is he?
God, mother.
What I'm saying is, how is he utilized if he's literally just there and he's not? It's not in the movie's not about him at all. In the movie, he's just some smuggler. Like there's nothing to him.
There could have been something interesting with his son, but they condensed that into this one scene and then kill him off.
That's so great, by the way.
Wow.
He's the son of her. I mean, the son of Han. How many scenes do they have together? 2.
1.
Totally feels like a son. You know, I love the chemistry between the two. Goddamn, they should have had some fucking flashbacks, man. But you know, that would require world building. And you know, being J.J. Abrams,
He's not a fan.
Yeah, he's not a fan. Yes, I would have never.
Being unpredictable is good.
Yes, okay. They were. Yeah, bad character writing was on the table because we had George.
Going back. Okay, but why does this matter? What? Okay, like, but the elements aren't in this film either. There's no setup in this film into this scene. This scene means nothing to us. The same way that Luke's character no longer means anything to us because he's not Luke Skywalker. Because the elements of his character aren't there.
Yep, the things we love about him.
Scene. Are you retarded?
Nostalgia.
Oh, this.
I just gotta say this idea that we have to destroy the old, make it look bad, and then prop up the new monster sort of thing. It's gotta stop in Hollywood. Like,
it's like Last of Us 2.
Not only that, but
okay. If you guys know about that debacle,
and what else has done this trope? Oh yeah, Terminator.
Mad Max kind of did it with Fury Road. They
yeah, but that was good.
A good movie, but they made Max himself kind of the main character. Just I don't really like. They had to push this new male.
And it's been going on for very long. Like it's
Huh. Funny joke. Do we get to see this? Did we get to see the scene where Ray hugs Leia instead of Chewie?
Man.
This random girl instead of
lifelong.
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
You know, here's the thing with Han's death. Chewbacca, he was never like a true, like fully formed character. Like, okay, no, that's bullshit. He is a character, but he's not as.
He's not deep. He's pretty static, but that's fine.
Yeah, like this loss of him. Like this could have actually added a lot for Chewbacca, but he doesn't get to be sad. He doesn't get to be like I miss Han. He doesn't get to be like Kylo. I liked Kylo when he was good. There was this like comic that was made by someone, and it was showing this like made up like relationship between Kylo
on that robot head video.
Yeah, and you see like Chewie is like he doesn't want to kill him because he remembers like the child part. There's so much stuff they could have done that they just don't because they're fucking assholes.
I will say one thing about this is that they actually treat Han's death like something serious, and they don't just start cracking jokes 5 seconds later. Unlike Rian Johnson's film, where Luke dies and they're all like, "Oh no, Luke's dead, I guess." But since Rian Johnson is a lazy fucking filmmaker, instead of having to sit on that fact, just like, "Oh, we have everything we need," and then moves on.
Han's death on its own should be like a whole trilogy's worth of like just oh my god, because like his character is powerful, and I mean powerful is like he commands the presence and he just goes away like it's nothing. It's just the most pathetic thing ever.
The more I look back on it, the more it's just God.
And Han just didn't want to tell him because they thought, what he wouldn't know wouldn't hurt him. Assume, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't care. I'm getting tired of this video.
Not exactly. It's scene itself doesn't destroy Luke's character. It's how it comes about and what it causes that does.
Yes. It's not in his character.
It's not even in his character to even consider it an option in any scenario.
It's not in his character to save a lot of people's lives and to not let evil get a hand back into power after he spent so much fucking work in reviving the Jedi Order, creating his own temple, spending decades after decades into this. Not in his character.
Come on.
Can we just kidnap this guy, and then put him like burglar clothes on him, and then shoot him, and then say that he was trying to invade our home and we had to protect ourselves?
What the fuck?
That was just a very elaborate way to fake like a genuine way to murder him. Don't listen to me. I'm tired.
Since the thought faded away quickly, it means he was in his character. No, fuck off.
I'm not advocating for real murder, by the way.
Hey, you know what the point of that scene was in Return of the Jedi? It was to overcome that urge to kill Darth Vader. Because he realized that it was about redeeming evil and not destroying it. You see, you think he would have taken that into consideration when his nephew, who had never done anything wrong, was standing in front of him, sleeping. Fine.
Nah, Mom, they all live in wooden
Fuck off,
huts.
Kneeler.
Yeah,
Jedi were failures because of a mistake that he made. Nope. No.
Jedi were failures because they ruled for 1,000 generations with little to no conflict.
I don't get this. Like the Jedi in the prequel trilogy, the only reason they all got killed was mostly just because they were blind to like a lot of the bad things Sidious did. Like they weren't even that, but like there's so many corrupt police forces in like America and stuff like that. Like for a force that's supposed to be protecting the galaxy that has been corrupted, they're actually pretty damn good in the prequel trilogy. Like they still have the interest of the people, or at least generally the protection of people at heart. It's just the core philosophies where they're screwing up. Like they're not failures. It's calling them failures is saying that they were stupid because they died.
Even if they were failures, they were only failures in that 23-year span. They still ruled or lived for 1,000 generations. That's like basically saying that like this ever-loving saint that lived most of his life was a bad person because he spent the last 2 weeks drinking and smoking. You fucking break.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just stupid. Ryan Johnson.
This is the clip you use. Maybe not, Mace Windu killing the Chancellor and then failing to, or maybe I don't know, just like them being bureaucratic and
they should have talked about the whole anger, hate, like learn to be fine with losing the ones you love. But there's so much stuff you could take apart from, but people, they don't pay attention when they watch the prequels. They just blindly hate on it like retards.
Didn't allow him to do so.
Didn't allow
They were manipulated into that happening, and they still tried to stop it, regardless of how hard they failed. It was in spite of them trying to.
The more I find out about the prequels, the more I realize that Mace Windu, despite his massive amount of power, he's kind of like the worst of the political Jedi, in the sense that he is the most dogmatic, most, he doesn't trust Anakin. He's kind of the asshole Jedi boss, Yeah. What does he do? Try and arrest Palpatine, try to do the right thing. Sure, he said he's too dangerous to be left alive, but it kind of was.
He's right.
Exactly. So, so the worst Jedi on the council, from the whole, the dogmatic perspective.
Hey, yeah.
Try to arrest the Emperor, and do what is right for the people. What a terrible movement. They just allowed it to happen, right, guys? Jesus Christ.
Okay, why would Obi-Wan give him a full history lesson about? Yeah, the Jedi in this span of 23 years, they weren't that great. They did all these weird things, but that's not what we're gonna train you. No, we're just gonna skip straight to the point.
Obi-Wan says for 1,000 years they were the guardians for thousands of generations. For over 1,000 generations, they were the guardians of peace and justice. Then they were betrayed, and that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
So yeah.
The, oh,
Besides,
God.
again, the entirety of Luke's arc in Return of the Jedi is to become a greater person than Obi-Wan and Yoda ever were.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
In fact, we can see how flawed they are because they want him to kill Vader directly. They don't think he can be saved. They don't have the love and compassion.
Luke was gonna create something new.
The old thing was doing good. The old thing was protecting the ones you love. The old thing was doing the right thing. What, are you serious, sir? Wait a fucking minute. Pause
What are
the
you
video.
talking
Guys. This guy is slandering George Campbell. He's saying that George Campbell is like, well, if you just go, there can be good things to change back to. Do you think he means that any like return to form to like do things the right way, or do like to correct a mistake is oh my
Is
God.
the worst thing since Hitler.
This is insulting to him. You know what? This guy doesn't read Joseph Campbell. He just
When somebody told me that this was going to be the worst take on the Last Jedi I've ever heard, they were one.
Yeah, he's just making up
This
shit.
is worse than Cosmos. This is worse than Major League. This is worse than IHE.
Really
This is
worse
just-
than all of those?
Oh my God! Yes.
I guess he must be because he's just so. He's just
Major League
wrong.
and IHE's attitude was extremely obnoxious. At least they were mostly just saying subjectivisms instead of this roundabout shit logic.
It's this video is fucking terrible.
They failed before they learned from that, except now they're deciding that he didn't learn from that, and that in fact he's still a dumbass
Boy,
little kid trapped into a man's body.
Don't you enjoy how the sequel trilogy, we never get to see anyone appreciate Luke for what he did?